Reviewing this episode was mostly a mixed bag because there are so many options I want to review from Jimmy Neutron as part of this month. I was originally going to be reviewing the movie, but people have already talked about it. Reviewing the return of the villains, which were the villains from the movie, but apparently people have mixed opinions on that. And I was originally going to review the finale of this show, but on the other hand, it's a gigantic mess that I'm pretty sure that it's mostly Cartoon Crisis material. So, I'm going to be reviewing My Big Fat Spy Wedding. This episode is a sequel to the Jet Fusion special, and all I can say is that this episode is actually a good continuation, and the fact that it actually has one of my favorite moments throughout the entirety of this show, not just in the third season. Beautiful Gorgeous has escaped prison, and considering that Calamitous is in this episode, but only as a minor character, and the fact that Beautiful Gorgeous is actually the main antagonist in this entire episode, it actually gives Beautiful Gorgeous more development on how intelligent she is when it comes to her tactics against Jimmy Neutron and Jet Fusion. She managed to have Jet Fusion fall in love with her even after everything that he went through in the special, which really causes Jimmy to be really paranoid, learning that they're gonna get married at the same time. Let me just say that the fact that Jimmy, Carl, and Sheen are spies in this just like they were in Jet Fusion, they're always just gonna have to do their job in order to make sure that Jet Fusion doesn't marry to Beautiful Gorgeous. Because all I can say is that as much as the villains in the show are mostly a mixed bag, Beautiful Gorgeous is actually a really good developed character for being a very hot person, while also be a very menacing person in the inside, and also psychotic. During the first half of this episode, Jimmy, Carl, and Sheen are just trying to make sure that Jet Fusion doesn't get close to Beautiful Gorgeous on most of the things that Beautiful Gorgeous has behind her back, mainly forbidding anyone to see. But at the same time, considering after the 3 attempts that backfired, it really shows that Beautiful Gorgeous has changed. But unfortunately, by the time Jimmy and the others leave the candy bar, she uses a hypnosis stick that can hypnotize Jet Fusion. And just before Jimmy left, she told him to say, "I have the Wayne," which, when he told the Jet Fusion is hypnotized, he will attack anyone who says, "I have the Wayne." And considering the next scene involves Jet Fusion beating down Sheen because he said, "I have the Wayne," Jimmy Neutron decides to continue on with this mission since that he's not as stupid as Beautiful Gorgeous thought he was. Jimmy heads to one of the apartments where Beautiful Gorgeous is at, and he's about to use his Hypno Way, but after a tactic from Beautiful Gorgeous which causes her to hit the Hypno Way away from Jimmy while also pushing him to the sides, allowing the cell to be fallen to the ground, Jimmy is completely trapped. Beautiful Gorgeous uses the Hypno Way and uses it against Jimmy to forget everything that what just happened 30 minutes ago, other than just heading to the wedding. With Jimmy completely having his memory being erased 30 minutes ago, other than going to the wedding, she and Carla needs to stop Beautiful Gorgeous from getting Jimmy completely destroyed, and this leads to them being locked up, and they're gonna be the only ones missing the wedding. Let me just point out, with the episode mainly about spies and the fact that this is a sequel towards Jet Fusion, after watching that special, I actually found this episode a lot more entertaining while also being a lot more interesting when it comes to the characters' motivations, mainly Beautiful Gorgeous and the fact that Jet Fusion actually has a change of heart towards her. Now, Jet Fusion in this episode doesn't do much other than being a tool for Beautiful Gorgeous to use in order to get Jimmy Neutron hurt while also putting him in jail. But on the other hand, that doesn't mean that he's really underused that much. I'm pretty sure that his appearance in the special actually gives a really good impression, mainly the fact that it's Jimmy Neutron mostly all idolized him since that he's a movie star, and the fact that he doesn't do much in this and it's mostly centering around Sheen, Carla doing the heroic work. This episode honestly has a lot of twists and turns that I give it credit for. For one thing, Jimmy had his memories erased in the past 30 minutes, and the only people he can count on is Carl and Sheen, since that they actually are fully aware of everything that they went through in this episode when it comes to Jet Fusion beating up Sheen, and the fact that they need to crash the Wayne before the Wayne itself just gets crashed regardless because of Jet Fusion beating up Jimmy. By the way, the Monkey Forces Squad that she mentioned throughout this episode, and the fact that the monkeys actually save Sheen and Carl from being trapped in a cell, I'm honestly convinced that Sheen is mostly intelligent while also cuckoo in the head, and probably still have those side effects after his brain got shaped down from Sheen's brain, but I'm pretty sure that the logic in this show is always wacky regardless. Also, this is pretty much the downfall of Nick, since that he accidentally breaks his leg constantly, and the season 4 plans of the show involves Nick being mostly part of the cast, unlike what he did after the movie where he's mostly a secondary character and not really a fully main character. I'm just saying this right now because in the 3rd season, Nick keeps breaking his leg constantly, and then he lost his popularity. I'm just pointing that out because, well, after seeing Nick in the movie and the fact that the less that we've seen him in the show, I'm pretty sure that the people writing this show actually felt bad for Nick, and they actually want to give him some kind of attention again, but not the popularity that he used to have. I'm just saying, if the Ant Bully didn't bomb in 2006, we will probably get more of Nick in the 4th season of this show. Anyway, she and Carl arrive just in time to tell Jimmy everything of what's truly going on. So, Jimmy tells everyone to say, "I have the Wayne," which leads to probably one of the best moments from any other season from this show. Libby plays on the piano and sings the song "I Have the Wayne," which is just, I have the Wayne right here. Seriously, it's really entertaining, and this leads to everyone in the wedding building to sing. Tell me how much that this bit alone cannot be annoying after a while, because even if Jimmy Neutron isn't really a show involving songs, even though that the characters sing once in a while from the Valentine's Day episode and the Christmas episode, but considering that this episode isn't really much of a holiday episode, way more memorable, especially of how it really backfired on Beautiful Gorgeous's plan. Let me just say that if this actually happens in a real-life wedding, they really need to take inspiration into having everyone say, "I have the Wayne." And I'm actually kind of surprised that after 16 years, I think, that no other wedding has ever done this before, but at the same time, this is also a spy episode, so it kind of makes sense for anyone who wouldn't sing this song in a wedding. Anyway, the episode ends with Beautiful Gorgeous getting arrested, and this leads to Sheen and Carl being much better spies than Jimmy. Granted, Jimmy didn't do anything wrong in this, but at the same time, he didn't actually came up with the song or just warning everyone about the whole hypnosis situation from Jet Fusion. I'm just saying that Sheen and Carla actually went through so many heights and stakes, especially the fact that the bit of Carla singing is actually probably the best parts of this, including Jet Fusion. Well, he wants this whole spy thing to be also a musical, but at the same time, no one is buying it. By the way, if anyone's gonna comment down below involving Cindy's behavior in some of these episodes, well, she found Jimmy attractive, and not until the end of the series will they actually get along as boy and girl, you know what? There's really nothing to say because Cindy appears in the second half of this episode and she doesn't do much. I would talk about more about her development towards Jimmy, since that in my science fair review, I was mostly being way too critical towards her. But on the other hand, even though that her development may have mood swings, it's just sometimes it's difficult for me to actually see the good moments from her character, while the bad moments just keeps happening towards the inappropriate times when it comes to making some kind of good moves towards Jimmy after what Jimmy did towards her. Granted, you can say all you want that Jimmy just ends up making things worse for the other characters, but on the other hand, Cindy's personality at some points is just mostly difficult for me to actually find it understandable, but at the same time, not much. I mean, in this episode, it does, but episodes like the Science Fair, not much. As for my verdict of this episode gets an 8 out of 10. I really appreciate for what this episode mostly does, and even though that some people may have different opinions on this episode and the fact that it leads to a finale that is just really claustrophobic when it comes to development, I still think that this episode is still one of the best episodes from the 3rd season of this show. Granted, I have mixed opinions on which episode is superior, but considering that the 3rd season is the final season, I'm still judging that season on how it made an impression from this show at least.
Let's get this started again. Me and my whole crew, we live with no rules. Let's get this started again. So if you feel like me too, there's only one thing to do. Let's go. Pay down, call the taxi cab. Got a case in the fridge and a bottle at the crib. Let's all get twisted, double fisting, drink up, no resisting. Let's get this started again. Let's get this started again. Let's get this